Hi, I'm Radine. Welcome to Life Sciences. Today we're going to be looking at hominid evolution. So let's take a look here. Alright, so the first question I'd like to ask you is, what does your family tree look like? If you have a look here, this is a family tree that shows, or kind of a family tree that shows how organisms have evolved. So we start off here at the bottom of the trunk, down at the ground, where we have the first more simple forms of life. And as the branches go upwards, the life forms become more and more complex until we see this is where you are over here. All right, so the concepts, or let's have a look at the topic, and we can see we're going to basically be talking about hominid evolution, and we're going to look at key biological concepts. Remember, terminology is key always, because if we understand the terminology, then we can then understand what the questions are asking us, we understand the concepts, etc. All right, so we're going to have a look at that. Then we're going to have a look at our place in the animal kingdom. We're going to have a look at how we interpret a phylogenetic tree, which is a very important aspect. And then we're going to have a look at characteristics that humans and apes have in common. We're going to look at the differences that they have and the advantages of bipedalism. So there's quite a bit of information here. All right. Okay, so the first key word that we're going to look at is common ancestor. Okay, and if we break up that term, we see common means where we have things that are similar or the same, and then ancestor is somebody that we have descended from. So basically it's an ancestor that two or more descendants have in common. So they share that ancestor. Right, the next term we're going to look at is fossils, and we did cover this in previous lessons where we spoke about fossils, and fossils we also covered when we were in grade 10, and basically fossils are the mineralized remains of organisms that have lived in the past. Okay, so they come from the past and they then are preserved as fossils, and we can study them today. All right, the next key word we're going to have a look at is extant. Now, we don't often use it, but when we're looking at descendants and organisms that have descended from others, we want to have a look and see if they are still in existence. So, for example, the Homo sapiens, human race is extant because we are still in existence. Then the opposite term is extinction. Okay, and here, this is where organisms have permanently disappeared from the earth. So those are species that are no longer in existence. So they then lived in the past, and the way in which we learn about them is from evidence, fossil remains, for example. Right, then two very important terms when we are studying human and hominid evolution is these two. So the first one is hominid. And hominid, so it has a D at the end, is a biological group that includes modern humans, early human ancestors, as well as chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, orangutans, and those are then collectively known as apes. So that's hominids. That includes humans and apes that we have. All right, but the second term is hominins. Okay, and there you can see there's an N at the end. So it's slightly different, and that is a subgroup of hominids, and it only includes modern humans and early human ancestors. So it's different from hominids in that we don't have the great apes included in this group. All right, then we're going to have a look at the term homo. And the term homo, it's a Latin term, and basically it means human or it means man. And then specifically Homo sapiens, which is the species that we belong to, and it means wise human. So all humans living today belong to the same species, and that is Homo sapiens. And just to highlight here that when we name a species, we use italics. And if you are not typing, then you're going to underline the words. So we would normally, if we're handwriting the names, then we would underline, and we always use a capital letter for the genus and a small letter for sapiens. All right, then some more keywords. Primates, we've mentioned that already. And here, this is a biological group, okay, that includes lemurs, it includes baboons, chimpanzees, apes, and humans. So it's quite a big group, and as I said, all our hominins would fit into the group of primates. All right, then paleontology, that's something we learned in grade 10, and basically paleontology is the study of fossil remains. So those archaeologists or paleontologists that study specifically fossil remains, we call them paleontologists. All right, then we've got phylogenetic tree, and this is an important term. It's where we have, it's our evolutionary diagram, and if we break the term up, so we have a look at the first part, it's philo, and that means phylum group. Okay, so we have a look at groups or phyla, and then the second part of the term is genetic, and that basically means relating to genes and origins. Okay, so that's actually quite a nice description of the diagram. And basically it's a diagrammatic representation, and what it shows is the possible evolutionary relationships amongst different species. So we can see how related, how closely related, or how far related organisms are if we have a look at the phylogenetic tree. Okay, so we've come to the end of this segment. We're going to take a short break now. See you after the break.